First Lady, Madam Dr. Moses Damakosa, Honorable Prime Minister for the United Republic of Tanzania, Kassim Majaliwa, Member of Parliament, distinguished dignitaries, all protocol staff. Now, to invite the Vice Chancellor of Sokoine University of Agriculture, Professor Raphael Chibunda, to recognize the dignitaries present this morning here and thereafter give his welcome remark. Professor Chibunda, tafadhali, karibu.
Thank you. The guest of honor, Your Excellency Cecily Matemera Ramaphosa, the President of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Kassim Majaliwa, Member of Parliament, the Prime Minister of the United Republic of Tanzania, Honorable Professor Paramagamba Johnny Aiden Mwaluko Kabudi, Member of Parliament, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the East African Cooperation, Honorable Professor Joyce Lazaro Ndarichako, Member of Parliament, Minister for Education, Science and Technology, Honorable Ms. Kubai Gubane, Minister of Tourism of the Republic of South Africa, our Regional Commissioner from Morogoro Region, Honorable Dr. Kabwe Stephen Kabwe, His Excellency South African High Commissioner in Tanzania, Mr. Mseleku, government leaders, members of the Sokoine University of Agriculture community, members of the Diplomatic Corps, SOMAFCO alumni, distinguished invited guests, members of the media, all protocol observed, ladies and gentlemen, let me say good morning. Your Excellency, guest of honor, first I am requested to have a duty of introducing those who are present here today. But given my rank in the government arrangement, there are dignitaries which here I can't introduce. I will leave that one to my immediate boss, the Minister for Education, Science and Technology, Honorable Joyce Ndarichako, to do that introduction when he takes his time. So let me introduce first members of the management of our university, Sokoine University of Agriculture, and allow me to just request two of my deputies to stand up, Professor Gira and Professor Kaimba. Then let me request principals, deans, directors and heads of department to also stand up and wave to our guest of honor. Very privileged to have members of the SMAP alumni who are with us today. Thank you very much. Having said that, guest of honor, allow me to just make a very brief welcoming remark on behalf of the Sokoine University of Agriculture Management and its community. Pleasure and honor.
Excellency Cecily Matemera Ramaphosa, the President of the Republic of South Africa, the Sokoine University of Agriculture, and the Sokoine in particular. Let me welcome to this place of consideration to our students, members of staff, and the entire commission of our university. friends who have attended here at your stage in this very important occasion. We are highly honored by your presence among us to participate in this auspicious and historic event. This special presentation of this speech for the University of Agriculture, and specifically to Solomon Mainland campus, is a clear demonstration of the everlasting solidarity which exists between the United Republic of Tanzania and the Republic of South Africa. From time to time, we receive visitors from South Africa who come to visit this place and pay homage to the party comrades. We still remember the happiness we had on the occasion of receiving other senior South African government officials, ranging from vice president, ministers, members of parliament to senior military officers.
Republic of South Africa. We at the University of Agriculture have always participated
as a special kind of experience, sharing moments with our colleagues from South Africa who have continued to be part of this campus and our university at large. Under Professor Hannah, this being your first visit to the University of Agriculture, allow me to briefly give the history of this university. In 1967, it was started as a diploma offering college in the area of agriculture, and it was called Morogoro Agriculture Training College. In 1970, it was elevated the faculty of Dar es Salaam University, which was the only university in this country by then. In the year 1984, our government, through an act of parliament, changed it into a private university, and it was named after one of the Greek sons of our country, the late Edward Moringa Sokoine, who was the Prime Minister of the Republic of Tanzania before his untimely death on 12th April 1984. Since its establishment, the number of students has grown from only 400 students in the year 1984 to the current 11,161 that includes 407 postgraduate students. Currently, the university is made up of 5 campuses, and the Solomon Mainland is one of those 5 campuses. Honorable Professor Hannah, much as I'm aware that within the program of this event, the history of the establishment of the ANC School, Mazimbu, also Mainland Freedom College, Somafco, will be given in some more details through the Somafco alumni speech that will be given shortly. Allow me to just say that it was in 1978 when the government of the Republic of Tanzania, under the leadership of our father of the nation, the late Mwalimu Kambarage Nyerere, allocated a total of 1,050 hectares of land to the African National Congress, or ANC, to start a school for the exile of the Africans in Tanzania. The school was established here at Mazimbu and was then known as the ANC School Mazimbu. And later it was renamed Solomon Mainland Freedom College. It consisted of a nursery school, a primary school, and a secondary school. Furthermore, to facilitate learning, students were provided with hostels. There were residential houses for staff, a hospital, a farm, a mini furniture factory, an auditorium, and a residency unit. On 9 July 1992, following the collapse of apartheid regime in South Africa, the ANC handed over the Somafco facilities to the government of Tanzania as a symbol of solidarity and friendship between the people of Tanzania and South Africa. This handing over was officiated by the then ANC chairman, the late Comrade Walter Tambo. Consequently, the facilities were handed by our government to the University of Agriculture. The campus is now being used to house, among other things, the Solomon Mainland College of Science and Education, which offers undergraduate and postgraduate programs in science education and sciences. To date, there is a total number of 5,000 students. In order to accommodate more students, the university has been selectively and without altering the historical buildings, adding new infrastructures. Recently, we completed the construction of a two-story laboratory building, which has the capacity of accommodating 400 students at once. We have also put up a new library with the capacity of seating 640 students. Under the Ghost of Hannah, in order to preserve the noble history of these facilities, the government of the Republic of Tanzania and our university made a decision to either maintain the old names to most of the units within this campus, or give names which bear the history of the liberation struggle. And let me just give you examples of those names. We have a primary school which is named Chief Alfred. We have hostels. In total, there are 6 hostels, and we prefer calling them units. They still bear names of freedom fighters like Governor Mbeki, J.D. Max, Lia Ngoi, Yusufu Dadu, Moses Kotane, and the Lam Bishop. Apart from the buildings and the utility facilities, the most important elements of our campus are the Heroes Area, where every freedom fighters who died during the struggle while in this place were placed. We continue taking care of this area, and we allow visitors, many who have been from South Africa, to visit this particular important area. On the Ghost of Hannah, at the university, we are blessed, very grateful to ANC, the government of South Africa, and the government of the United Republic of Tanzania for having provided us with these facilities, which have made it possible for so many young women and men to get university education in our country. On our part as a university, we pledge to continue taking care and preserving the logos of this place. However, before I end my welcome remark, let me invite universities and other education institutions of North Africa to cooperate with our university in various areas of common interest. And I also welcome students from South Africa to come and continue being part of this campus as a student. Let me once again thank you for visiting Sokoine University of Agriculture. It is my sincere hope that next time you will find time to visit us again. With these remarks, I wish you a nice and memorable occasion. God bless Africa, God bless Tanzania, the God bless South Africa. Asante sana.
Asante makamu wa chuo, Your Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, Honorable Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, it is high time now we get some remarks. Humbly allow me to invite the following to give these few remarks. Let us start with the head of Somaco Trust. Please have a floor. We are having this event broadcast live. I would kindly request presenters to use the other podium, please. Head Somaco Trust.
Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, the First Lady Dr. Teko Motsepe of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Kassim Majaliwa, Prime Minister of the United Republic of Tanzania, Ministers, High Commissioner, Regional Commissioner of Morogoro, Premier of the Northern Cape Province in South Africa, Vice Chancellor of SUA, National Research Council, other organizations. Governors, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. 40 years ago, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, the founding father of the United Republic of Tanzania, spoke here for the first time during the occasions of the 10th anniversary of SOMAFO in 1989. President Nyerere commended the efforts and achievements in Mazimbu and implored the beneficiaries of these facilities to share their experience with others when they returned home. Today marks the 11th year of doing so, and having previously exposed over foreign youth from South Africa to this rich liberation history on which we stand. In 1985, 6 years after SOMAFO began operating, the ANC undertook the official opening of SOMAFO. Former President of the ANC, Oliver Tambo, under whose solid commitment and stewardship these facilities were developed. Monuments of solidarity and friendship. But what we have here, what lies in this land, and the bones interred on this land, make it more than a story of solidarity and friendship. What SOMAFO, the heritage and epoch here represents, is family. It represents a tradition of culture, of enterprise, of vision, and a prime example of the power of a determined collaboration. A dedication to realizing a dream. Mr. President, I'm using the word dream again because you have spoken about your dreams. We're at a place which is evidence that dreams can come true. Over the last 3 years, you supported our dream to bring you here, and unless I'm dreaming, it has come true. Two interesting things worth sharing to explain part of the precincts project which I've been requested to talk about. I don't know, Mr. President, if you are aware, but I saw somewhere that you actually grew up here. You were here in SOMAFO back in the day. Okay, that was a joke, but that's fine. But it did happen. And from time to time we have had to clarify, even in South Africa, that Solomon Mahlangu never set foot in Tanzania. What this tells us is that there's a lot of work to do on our part to make sure that these buildings that tell a powerful story about African determination to liberate itself are told. The precinct project aims to preserve and promote our shared heritage. It will drive our cultural exchange program to a higher plateau, spur tourism activities and collaboration, as well as empower the youth of both South Africa and Tanzania. This project is at its heart a taking of the baton from our former leaders in doing what they did, which is to build the future. So, Mr. President, thank you very much for coming to Mazimbu, honoring the legacy of Mwalimu Nyerere and Oliver Tambo and all the leaders that supported this endeavor here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the head of SOMAFO Trust. Your Excellency, allow me further to invite now the Minister for Tourism, Honorable Kubai Ngubane. I'm told he will just salute us later. Your Excellency, I heard you saying your Kiswahili speaking days is on Mondays, and today is Friday. Your Excellency, allow me to use Kiswahili now so that we can get greetings or brief greetings from Tanzanian ministers. Naomba nimwalike Mheshimiwa Waziri Mwakembe, waziri wetu wa michezo na utamaduni, atusalimie. Mheshimiwa Waziri, tafadhali.
Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, First Lady of South Africa, Right Honorable Kassim Majaliwa, Prime Minister of the United Republic of Tanzania, my fellow ministers, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if I should speak in Swahili. I believe, because this is not Monday, His Excellency may not follow me properly. Let me simply thank you, Your Excellency, and your Ministry of Arts and Culture for maintaining a very close working relationship with the Ministry of Information, Culture, Arts and Sports in implementing the African Liberation Heritage Program. I say thank you very much, Your Excellency, because without your permission, even my brother, Nati, the Minister for Arts and Culture, would have not done as much as he's doing right now to promote our African heritage. With these few remarks, let me say to you in Swahili now, karibu sana Mheshimiwa Rais, tunajisikia heshima sana kuja Tanzania na kuja kutembelea kituo hichi ambacho kinawakumbusha watoto wetu wa leo na kesho kwamba uhuru tulio nao tuliupigania. Asante sana.
Mheshimiwa Waziri Mwakembe, Your Excellency, as my intention to add to your vocabulary, I will still use Kiswahili now again kumwalika waziri wetu wa sayansi na teknolojia Mheshimiwa Profesa Ndalichako kutoa remarks zake. The remarks could be in English, but the invitation is in Kiswahili, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, the First Lady, Honorable Kassim Majaliwa, Prime Minister of the United Republic of Tanzania, honorable ministers who are present here, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I would like to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank the Almighty God for giving us health and for enabling Sokoine University of Agriculture to host such eminent guests. Your Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of South Africa, you are warmly welcome to Sokoine University. As Professor Chibunda, the Vice Chancellor, explained, this place has a great history to freedom fighters of the Republic of South Africa. We are very delighted by your visit, Your Excellency, and your presence here today not only shows how much you value the contributions of the foreign comrades who pioneered the liberation of Republic of South Africa, but also cements the bond between our two great nations that was established by our great leaders, the late Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere and the late Nelson Mandela. I would also like to thank Honorable Kassim Majaliwa, the Prime Minister of the United Republic of Tanzania, for accompanying you, Your Excellency, in your visit to Sokoine University of Agriculture. Thank you very much, Honorable Kassim Majaliwa. To other delegates and guests from both Tanzania and South Africa, you are warmly welcome to Sokoine University of Agriculture, and indeed, your presence today here is a great honor and a blessing to us. Thank you all for being here. Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, you are here at Solomon Ulangu campus, which was once the ANC, School for the Exiled South Africans in Tanzania, by the name of Solomon Maulanga Freedom College, which is popularly known as SAMAFCO. Having served its purpose, the ANC handed over the SAMAFCO facilities to the government of United Republic of Tanzania in 1992. And after the collapse of apartheid regime in South Africa, we Tanzanians value this good gesture from our friends from the Republic of South Africa, which is a heritage that symbolizes our solidarity and friendship. Since then, we have proceeded to develop the campus by renovating all the infrastructure and building new ones, all of which are named after great South African freedom fighters, and the Vice Chancellor has given us some of the names which are used in the buildings. All this is to make sure that the history of our good friendship remains intact and to give room for the new generation to appreciate where we came from. Your Excellency, the Solomon Holanga campus is now part and parcel of Sokoine University of Agriculture, which offers undergraduate and postgraduate degree programs. Our vision is to continue to expand the campus by adding new infrastructure without affecting or modifying the old ones that carries the history of the campus, so as to increase the capacity of the university in terms of admission and to improve learning capacity. Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, as the Minister responsible for Education, Science and Technology, I really appreciate the honor you and your delegation have given us by setting aside your time to visit our institution. Also, Your Excellency, allow me to thank you in advance for the other areas of cooperation that falls under the sector of education we are working on, notably on the teaching of Kiswahili. We are looking forward to collaborating to your vision of introducing Kiswahili as a language of teaching in South Africa. So Tanzania, we are ready to cooperate in that regard. I would like to invite you more and more. I would like to invite more and more bilateral cooperation, even between our universities, so that we continue to cement our historical bonds. Your Excellency, with those few remarks, I once again thank you for you and your delegation for setting aside time to come and visit Sokoine University of Agriculture. Please, when going back to the Republic of South Africa, convey our greetings to our brothers and sisters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our Minister. Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, Honorable Tanzanian Prime Minister, Your Excellency, with your permission now, allow me to invite our Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs and East Africa Cooperation, and again, he is also a newly crowned chairperson of the Council of SADC Ministers, Professor Palamagamba Kabudi, Member of Parliament, to give his remarks.
Your Excellency, President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, don't be surprised that people here say Ramaphosa, because in the Swahili orthography, because your name has H, makes them say Ramaphosa. So to the Swahili speakers, drop the H and say Ramaphosa. So you swallow the H. Because their orthography was very much influenced by English. And our orthography was very much influenced by German. So drop the H and then you have the correct name, Comrade President of South Africa. Now, because I'm the chairman of the SADC Council of Ministers, and until the heads of state and government of SADC approve Kiswahili to be the fourth official language of SADC, allow me to use English. Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, Right Honorable Prime Minister of the United Republic of Tanzania, Kassim Majaliwa, First Lady of South Africa, the Premier of one of the provinces in South Africa, I'm not sure whether it is. It is? Northern? Oh, Northern Cape. Ministers here present, ambassadors and high commissioners, regional commissioner of Dar es Salaam, of Morogoro, I'm sorry. Coming from Dar es Salaam, my thinking is there. And a few of you know that actually I'm part of Morogoro because my mother comes from this region. Your Excellency, before I welcome the Prime Minister, let me say, welcome to South Africa within Tanzania. This place is South Africa within Tanzania. And it had a different status. It was not a Bantustan. It was not a homeland, but a free South Africa within Tanzania. Past laws and the Calabar did not apply here in this free territory of South Africa. Education here was not the homeland Bantu education of Venda or mention any homeland. Here is where you had the South Africa, what you have today. So what you have today was here before it was there. And this is where all South Africans from all areas of South Africa, white and black, yellow and green, became South Africans. So welcome to South Africa. And actually, in the real sense, you are the one who was supposed to welcome us. And much will be said by the Prime Minister, but I want to mention, because sometimes we forget, Mwalimu entrusted a lady, a female from Tanzania, to supervise this work. Anna Margaret Abdallah, who was the regional commissioner of Morogoro. She supervised the construction. It was our intention that she should be here today. But Your Excellency President, age has taken its toll and she wouldn't be able to be here. But it is Mwalimu who brought her to Morogoro. Specifically, one of the assignments that Anna Margaret Abdallah was given was to build this area. So in all the names later on which you will give to some of your streets, don't forget Anna Margaret Abdallah. And because our president has said, President Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, Your Excellency President Ramaphosa, Anna Margaret Abdallah became the mentor of our current president. He was appointed the deputy minister under Anna Margaret Abdallah. So this great president we have today is also a product of Anna Margaret Abdallah. At Ellis in Fort Hare University, you have some of the professors and lecturers who come from the Sokoine University of Agriculture. So you can see from Morogoro, they've now moved to Ellis Fort Hare. And I believe there'll be more cooperation in future between Fort Hare University, a university of its history in South Africa, and this university. With those few remarks, now allow me now, protocol requires me to introduce and welcome the Prime Minister in our national language, Kiswahili. So now I'm donning off that other hat. Now I'm becoming now a minister in the government of Tanzania. So I will now turn to Kiswahili. Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Afrika Kusini Cyril Ramaphosa, Mheshimiwa Kassim Majaliwa, Mbunge, Waziri Mkuu wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, waheshimiwa mawaziri mliopo na wageni wote waalikwa. Siku ya leo ni siku muhimu katika uhusiano wa Afrika Kusini na Tanzania. Udugu wetu na umoja wetu, moja ya alama hizo ni taasisi hii au chuo hiki au eneo hili. Na kwa kuwa tunaye Mheshimiwa Waziri Mkuu ambaye Mheshimiwa Rais amemleta hapa kwa umuhimu mkubwa ambao Mheshimiwa Rais ameipa shughuli hii na ujio huu, ni heshima kwangu sasa, kwa heshima na taadhima, kumkaribisha Mheshimiwa Waziri Mkuu wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, Mheshimiwa Kassim Majaliwa kuja kuzungumza na hadhara hii. Mheshimiwa Waziri Mkuu, karibu sana.
Your Excellency Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, Your Excellency the First Lady of the Republic of South Africa, Professor Raphael Chibunda, Vice Chancellor from Sokoine University of Agriculture, Honorable Stephen Kabwe, Regional Commissioner from Morogoro, Honorable Professor Paramagamba Kabudi, Minister for Foreign Affairs and East Africa Cooperation for the United Republic of Tanzania, Honorable Dr. Harrison Mwakembe, Minister of Information, Culture, Arts and Sports, Honorable Professor Joyce Ndalichako, Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Honorable Innocent Kalugris, Morogoro Regional Chairman of Chama cha Mapinduzi, Honorable Pasco Kihanga, the Municipal Mayor of Morogoro, Honorable Dr. Grace Nalendi Mandisa Pando, Minister for International Relations and Cooperation of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Tiholo Matlande, Head of Somafco Trust, all delegates from South Africa, all government officials from the United Republic of Tanzania, distinguished guests, members of the media here present, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Your Excellency, I understand that you reserved a mandate to speak another language, including Swahili. So I will start speaking through my speech by English, then I will change my tune to Kiswahili for the benefit of Tanzanians. So allow me to say the following. It gives me very great pleasure to welcome Your Excellency Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, President of the United Republic of South Africa, the Sokoine University of Agriculture here in Morogoro, at this third day of your state visit to Tanzania. Your visit to Tanzania has indeed come at an opportune moment where Tanzania is hosting the 39th Summit of the Heads of State and Government from the Southern African Development Community. Your Excellency, as we all know, in the second day of your state visit to Tanzania, you have had a fruitful discussion with His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, through tete-a-tete, and official talks with a view to enhancing the existing bilateral relations between South Africa and Tanzania. On that note, Your Excellency, may I also join His Excellency President Magufuli to reaffirm my commitment and Tanzania's readiness to work with you and your government in promoting our bilateral cooperations, especially on production capacity through industrialization, so as to advance our country's agenda of becoming a middle-income country by 2025. Your Excellency, it is indeed obvious that you cannot mention the relation between Tanzania and South Africa without recalling the Sokoine University of Agriculture, especially the Mazimbu campus. As we might recall, this is one of those places where our common shares interests meet during the freedom movement in South Africa. Sokoine University of Agriculture remains by the large mainstay of our freedom movement in South Africa, and in particular the liberation struggle against apartheid in South Africa. The bonds of brotherhood and the unity for the frontline states during the fight for apartheid were cultivated here. Therefore, we all continue to remember the late Mwalimu Nyerere and the late Nelson Mandela for their commitment to unity, outstanding ability, and devastating frankness in spearheading the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. Your Excellency, let me hasten to add that Tanzania's problems are very similar from those of South Africa because our inheritance, our geographic and economic circumstances are very similar. As people who experienced and fought together the colonial economy oppression and the social injustice, we can stand together to promote development and prosperity in the fruitful advance of our people. Your Excellency, it is not really my intention to make a speech to you. Rather, I was given a simple task to welcome you to the podium to speak to this gathering, and therefore, as I take this opportunity to ask you to proceed to this podium, may I reiterate my confidence that your short stay with us here in Tanzania and also here at Mazimbu campus will be beneficial to our respective people and enjoyable to you and your delegation. So, Your Excellency, before I welcome you to this podium, I would like now to change my tune into Swahili so that Tanzanians can understand what is special today. Mheshimiwa Rais Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, mama yetu Mama Cyril Ramaphosa, mawaziri wote mlioko hapa, ndugu zetu wote kutoka Afrika Kusini na Watanzania wote ambao mnatusikiliza na kutuona hapa kupitia vyombo vyetu. Leo hii kwetu ni siku muhimu sana, siku ambayo Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Afrika Kusini kutembelea Tanzania, lakini pia hapa Mazimbu. Mazimbu ni eneo lenye historia na ni eneo ambalo linaonyesha uhusiano mkubwa wa kihistoria kati ya nchi zetu mbili. Kwa lugha nyingine, huwezi kuelezea vizuri uhusiano kati ya Tanzania na Afrika Kusini pasi ya kulitaja eneo hili la Mazimbu. Kama mtakavyokumbuka, eneo la Mazimbu limebeba historia muhimu ya kumbukumbu ya vuguvugu la ukombozi wa nchi za kusini mwa Afrika pamoja na mapambano dhidi ya ubaguzi wa rangi uliokuwa umekithiri Afrika Kusini. Mheshimiwa Rais, Tanzania ikishirikiana na nchi 5 zilizokuwa katika kundi la mstari wa mbele ambazo ni Angola, Tanzania yenyewe, Zambia, Botswana na Mozambiki, ilijishughulisha sana katika ukombozi kusini mwa Afrika na katika kukomesha sera ya ubaguzi wa rangi Afrika Kusini. Halikadhalika, sote tunatambua kuwa sera za ubaguzi wa rangi zilikoma mwezi Februari mwaka 1994 na kufuatiwa na uchaguzi huru wa haki uliopelekea kupatikana kwa rais wa kwanza mzalendo wa nchi hiyo hayati mzee wetu mzee Nelson Mandela mwezi Mei 1994. Mheshimiwa Rais, utakubaliana nami kuwa undugu na umoja wa nchi zilizounda kundi la mstari wa mbele kwa kiasi kikubwa ulilelewa hapa nchini Tanzania. Aidha, tunapoongelea kukoma kwa sera za ubaguzi wa rangi nchini Afrika Kusini, siku zote tutawakumbuka hayati Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, baba wa taifa wa Tanzania, na hayati mzee Nelson Mandela, baba wa taifa wa South Africa, wa Afrika Kusini, kwa sababu ya utumishi wao uliotukuka kwa kujenga misingi imara ya umoja katika mapambano dhidi ya ubaguzi wa rangi uliokuwa umekithiri nchini Afrika Kusini. Mheshimiwa Rais, isitoshe tu kusema kuwa mahusiano yetu ya kihistoria yameendelea kushamili kutokana na juhudi za viongozi wetu hao wawili walioweka misingi imara iliyojengwa na wazee wetu hao. Imekuwa chachu ya kushirikiana katika majukwaa ya kimataifa, hususan katika kupambana na ubaguzi wa rangi ambao kwa umekithiri katika kunyanyasa ndugu zetu kwenye nchi zetu hizi. Mheshimiwa Rais, kwa namna pekee ya kuwaenzi viongozi wetu hawa ni kuendelea kujenga umoja na kushirikiana katika kuimarisha Jumuiya ya Maendeleo ya Kusini mwa Afrika SADC kwa ajili ya maslahi mapana ya watu wetu. Leo hii, ndugu zangu, tutakubaliana nami kwamba changamoto zinazokabili Tanzania katika nyanja mbalimbali zinafanana sana kwa kiasi kikubwa na changamoto ambazo ziko Afrika Kusini, na hii ni kwa sababu ya historia yetu au ya kijiografia, kwamba vinafanana sana. Kwa maana nyingine, watu wa Afrika Kusini ni wale wa Tanzania wote wanaowahi kupitia hali ya ukandamizaji, ubaguzi wa rangi na kutothaminiwa utu wao dhidi ya wakoloni. Kadhalika, serikali zetu zote zinatambua kuwa ni umoja pekee utakaowezesha kuivuka vizingiti hivi kiuchumi, na ndivyo ambavyo pia tunahitaji kuvikabili navyo. Ndugu wa Tanzania, leo tuko na Mheshimiwa Rais wa Afrika Kusini hapa Mazimbu. Amekuja kwa lengo la kuona maendeleo ya kituo chetu hiki ambacho sisi kwa busara tumeamua kukitumia kama eneo la kutolea taaluma ya kilimo kwa ngazi ya chuo kikuu. Jambo hili ni la faraja kwetu sote, na chuo hiki kinatumika na nchi zote mbili kwa kuleta wanachuo na kusoma hapa Mazimbu. Na sisi kama Tanzania ni jukumu letu kukitunza na kukienzi kwa lengo la kuimarisha kumbukumbu yetu ya mapambano dhidi ya ubaguzi wa rangi uliokuwa umeshamiri Afrika Kusini, na hapa ndio ikiwa ndio kitovu cha vuguvugu hilo. Ndugu wa Tanzania, leo hii Mheshimiwa Rais atapata fursa ya kutembelea kwenye majengo mbalimbali. Atapita kwenye ofisi ya kwanza iliyotumika katika kupanga mikakati ya kwenda South Africa au Afrika Kusini kupambana dhidi ya ubaguzi wa rangi. Lakini pia atatembelea maeneo ya makaburi ambayo wenzetu waliotangulia mbele za haki, ambao ndio walikuwa wapambanaji dhidi ya ubaguzi wa rangi, wamelala, na pale tutapata dua kidogo. Na Mheshimiwa Rais atapanda mti wa kumbukumbu ambao utaendelea kutukumbusha Watanzania mahusiano yetu na urafiki wetu katika mapambano mbalimbali, hii ikiwemo. Baada ya kusema hayo, sasa tumia nafasi hii kumkaribisha rais wetu kutoka Afrika Kusini ili aweze kuzungumza na nyie. So Your Excellency, now is your opportunity to come and say something. So I would like to invite you to come and say something. You are welcome. Thank you. So before you speak, please, Your Excellency, we have something to remember while you are here in Tanzania and the way that. So I would like to hand over to you.
sana tafadhali. Piga makofi mengi sana kwa shukrani.
Hii ni picha ya mpambanaji mashuhuri wa Afrika Kusini ambaye alikuwa hapa, Bwana Solomon Mahlangi, na ndio jina linalotumika sana kwenye chuo chetu hapa. Tupige makofi tena. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Program Director, Prime Minister of the United Republic of Tanzania, the Right Honorable Kassim Majaliwa, the Morogoro Regional Commissioner Dr. Stephen Kebwe, the Vice Chancellor of the Sokoine University of Agriculture, Professor Rafael Chibunda, and other members of the teaching fraternity of this wonderful university, head of the Somafco Trust, Mr. Tolo Mathate, and his other colleagues who have also accompanied him, Minister Kabudi, Minister Ngubani from South Africa, other ministers, High Commissioners, the Premier of the Northern Cape, Dr. Zamani Soul, Justice Dikgang Moseneke, who is the former Deputy Chief Justice of South Africa, the Mayor of Morogoro, the leadership of Chama cha Mapinduzi, who I met earlier. It's wonderful to have you here. Other government officials from both South Africa and the United Republic of Tanzania. I think there are students here. Are there students here of this university? Yes, they are waving at the back there. And the student fraternity as well. Let me at first express my heartfelt condolences to the people of Morogoro and to the people of Tanzania for the tragedy that occurred here that shook us all over Africa as we read about the accident that took the lives of over 76 people almost a week ago. We express our condolences and we wish those who are still in hospital a speedy recovery. Let me also deal with an issue which has been repeated a few times here. The issue of my relationship with Kiswahili. Now, President Magufuli came to South Africa in May. When he came there, he came with a word of books this big. And he said to me, I would like you to come and visit Tanzania, which I accepted. And he said, but I would also like you to learn Kiswahili, and here are the books. So I spent the time from May, June, July, and we're now in August, learning Kiswahili. Now, I told the president yesterday that he may not know this, but I've learned Kiswahili quite extensively from the books that he gave me. And to the extent that I know it so well, and I understand it so well, but because we've got 11 languages in South Africa, I have reserved Monday to be the only day I speak Kiswahili. So if you want to know whether I can speak Kiswahili or not, meet me on Monday. It's a real pleasure to be here. We as South Africans feel that we have come home. This is our home. And we did not even need to be told that we are home. We felt it as we came in. And let me clarify why I feel I am at home as well. To Xolo, no, I did not work here. This is my first visit to Morogoro. My brother worked here. He was a teacher at Somafco, and my niece and nephew were born here. So the umbilical cords of the Ramaphosa family are buried here. So we feel very much a part of this place here. And Justice Moseneke, who I came with, is helping with the facilitation process in Lesotho. So he and I are going to be giving a report to the heads of states as the heads of state of SADC meet. And when he heard that we are coming to Morogoro, he immediately felt the need, the urge, the desire, and the pull to come here to Morogoro. And he immediately said, I want to go to the shrine of the liberation struggle. And we have come to the shrine. This is the Mecca of the liberation struggle. And we are delighted to be here. So we are home, and we're delighted that this piece of land we were given by Mwalimu, we put it to good use, and it's now been handed over to its rightful owners. So in many ways, we have given you a piece of South Africa. So a piece of South Africa is here once again. So we have returned to the place which, for 3 decades, provided shelter, comfort, nourishment, and knowledge and inspiration to thousands of South African freedom fighters. This is a homecoming for several members of my delegation who lived here at some time in their lives in exile. Some were also born here, and some came here as young babies, and they lived the better part of their lives in this wonderful place. Yet even for those who have never been here before, or even for those who never spent time first in this place and there also in Mazimbu, this is a moment of great significance and meaning for all of us. Most South Africans feel an affinity to Tanzania, especially to Morogoro. And let me say that we are humbled by the fact that you have kept the names that many of the structures, the streets and the buildings were given, the names of the heroes of our struggle. I was most moved as we came in and I saw the Chief Albert Luthuli Primary School. It immediately touched my heart to know that you have kept that name, and that name connects you to us in South Africa. Thank you very much for doing so. No account of the anti-apartheid struggle can ever be complete without Tanzania, and in particular Morogoro's chapter in that inspiring human narrative. Because what you did in support of our struggle as a people, as a nation, is something that we will never, ever, ever forget. We thank you eternally for the support and the sacrifices that you made for us to be free. We owe the freedom that we have today to the people of Tanzania. We owe it to all of you, and for that we thank you, and we will thank you eternally. Thank you very much. This is a place of significance because a number of important meetings were held here. And among those was the ANC's landmark consultative conference, which was held here in Morogoro in 1969. This year we mark the 50th anniversary of that landmark conference that in many ways determined the future trajectory of our struggle and has been a contributory moment in the struggle that we finally won. The conference was a pivotal moment in our struggle for our liberation. It was a key moment of renewal and revitalization. In 2017, we could say we held a similar conference when the ANC decided at its 54th conference to embark on a journey of renewal and revitalization. So this has a great deal of meaning to me as president of the African National Congress, that I've come 50 years later to the home of a venue where the ANC took important decisions that renewed and revitalized the ANC, and I was elected at a conference which also renewed and revitalized the African National Congress. So the connection is quite big and quite important. The Morogoro Conference effectively defined the course of our struggle for the next 2 decades. In fact, the frank and sometimes heated discussions held here in Morogoro continue to echo through the liberation movement half a century later. Although we now wage a new struggle for economic emancipation under very different conditions, the 1969 Strategy and Tactics document that was adopted here in Morogoro remains to this day an important and enduring point of reference for our movement. That conference was made possible by the generosity of the government and the people of the newly independent Tanzania. It was made possible in particular by the generous leadership of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, who had a vision of a free and independent Africa in which all its people could exercise their right to self-determination. What we are also grateful about is that even though Nelson Mandela was in prison and Mwalimu was already leading this country, through some spirits of struggle, they were connected, they were linked, they were friends, they were brothers in arms, and they remained committed to a vision of an independent, free, and united Africa. And so we thank the two leaders for the enormous leadership that they provided to our two countries. They are the fathers of our two nations, and we will forever remember them, and we will forever thank them for what they did. Guided by his conviction, Mwalimu that is, Tanzania offered itself as a base for several liberation movements from across the region, including the ANC, the Pan-Africanist Congress, Frelimo, MPLA from Angola, ZAPU, ZANU, and SWAPO. Tanzania became and housed large numbers of freedom fighters and refugees from across southern and sub-Saharan Africa, providing an escape for those endangered by colonial oppression, wars of liberation, and natural disasters. In elaborating this selfless support for liberation movements, Tanzania encouraged and promoted African unity and solidarity. For this, Tanzania paid a heavy price as the colonial and apartheid rulers of neighboring states sought to destabilize Tanzania and undermine its economy. And in fact, when one thinks about it, the economy of this country would have been much bigger, to have grown at a much faster pace had it not been for what held it back through the machinations of the apartheid rulers as well as the colonial rulers. Minister Kabiru was telling me that Tanzania had to destroy the bridges in the south, destroy even roads, so as to stop the apartheid rulers from charging into Tanzania to come and attack the African National Congress and the PAC and of course other liberation movements. They destroyed their own infrastructure so that they can support our own struggle. Thank you so much for having supported our struggle in practical ways. Tanzania will forever be remembered as the heart of the Southern African liberation struggle, and the people of our countries will forever remain grateful. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today we return to feel with our own hands the soil that sustained our freedom fighters over the many dark years of oppression, the soil in which the remains of several of those freedom fighters are now interred. This is the soil that continues to provide life and sustenance to our Tanzanian brothers and sisters. It is the soil on which the future of a prosperous, free and peaceful Africa will be built. We therefore return here not only to remember, not only to pay tribute to the courageous men and women who made sacrifices and fought for our freedom, not only to convey our everlasting gratitude to the people of Tanzania. We return here because we desire, like the people of this area and all the people of Tanzania, to see this as a place of development, a place of commerce, of learning, and of prosperity. Together with the people of Tanzania, we want this place to have a future that is as glorious as its past. That is why we are greatly encouraged by initiatives like the SOMAFCO Future Africa Precinct, which aims to remember and to celebrate our past while investing in infrastructure and economic opportunities that make a tangible difference in the lives of the people of this area. This actually builds on the valuable work that the SOMAFCO Trust has been doing over several years to deepen the ties of solidarity and understanding between the youth of South Africa and Tanzania, and thereby encouraging tourism and other investment opportunities. It is work that serves to remind young people of the importance of this place in the history of our country and of the contribution that Tanzania and several other African countries made to the attainment of our freedom. Through these efforts, the ties between Morogoro and South Africa have been sustained, although at a quarter of a century has passed since most of our people went back home. It is our task now, as the heirs of this great heritage, to deepen these ties through economic cooperation and development. We need to work together to bring investment into this region, to develop social and economic infrastructure, to create employment and opportunity right here in this area. We need to work together to open up markets in South Africa and other parts of the region for the goods that are produced in this region to reach South Africa. We need to bring investors, yes, from South Africa to come here. And I'm delighted that young people are leading the charge in this regard, because for South Africans, this must be a real mega tourist attraction. But more than that, it must also become an investment destination. We also want to share the skills, the knowledge and the experience and technology that we possess. We'd like to work together to make the Africa Continental Free Trade Area a powerful instrument for industrialization and inclusive development. Between us and together, we have the means to transform our countries, our region, and our continent. But more importantly, we have it within us to transform the areas where our people live. The foundation for this great and noble undertaking are to be found here in this earth. On behalf of the government and the people of South Africa, I wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to President Magufuli and the people of Tanzania for the invitation to feel once again the warm soil of Mazimbu. We look forward to working together side by side to build a future for the peoples of our two great nations and the peoples of Africa. I'm delighted to hear that this university here has already started forging partnerships with one of our other iconic universities in South Africa, the University of Fort Hare. And this for me means a lot, because the University of Fort Hare was the real epicenter of African intellectualism. It was the epicenter of where many of our great leaders were educated. Nelson Mandela, Robert Mugabe, many others, Robert Sobukwe, were all educated there. And to forge this relationship with this university is really, truly outstanding. What I would like to also suggest is that the Chief Albert Luskuli Secondary School here should forge a relationship with one of our other schools in South Africa. Minister Kubai and I will appoint and nominate a school that should forge a relationship with the Chief Albert Luthuli School here. I would like to see exchange visits of the young people, the young learners from Chief Albert Luthuli Secondary School here and another school in South Africa, where they visit each other, where we exchange them, where teachers also exchange and come here and they go to South Africa, so that we consolidate this wonderful relationship going forward. We will also seek to work with the Somafco Trust to see what else we as a government can do to improve the situation of this university here and this area, because this area belongs to us. We have just lent it to you as Tanzanians. Thank you very much.
Naomba tusimame tupige makofi mengi kwa Mheshimiwa Rais wetu tafadhali.
Na mtazamaji wa TBC1 na msikilizaji wa TBC Taifa, hivyo ndivyo ambavyo Rais wa Afrika Kusini Cyril Ramaphosa alivyohitimisha hotuba yake mahali hapa, kubwa akisisitiza umuhimu wa kuendelea kushirikiana kati ya taasisi mbalimbali zilizo katika eneo hili na taasisi za aina hiyo zilizo Afrika Kusini. Ametoka kuelezea punde tu kwamba kuna shule iliyopewa jina la Chifu Lituli, shule ya msingi iliyoko hapa Mazimbu, basi ni vyema ikaanzisha ushirikiano na uhusiano na shule ya msingi itakayofahamika baadaye kule nchini Afrika Kusini. Lakini ameeleza pia ni jinsi ambavyo wao kama serikali watakwenda kuangalia na angazia pia maeneo ya kuboresha zaidi uhusiano na ushirikiano kati ya chuo hiki kikuu na taasisi nyingine, lakini pia kuangalia hapa Mazimbu, kitovu cha harakati za ukombozi kwa Afrika ya Kusini, kwa namna gani wataweza kupaboresha na kuendeleza eneo hili, kizungumza pia hata kwa utani kwamba hili ni eneo la Afrika Kusini lakini wameiazima tu Tanzania. Waweza kuona ni kwa kiwango gani eneo hili lina umuhimu sana katika historia ya mafanikio na hata historia ya ukombozi wa Afrika Kusini, kama ambavyo hotuba zote zilizozungumza hapa ziligusia hilo kwa kina. Shughuli inayoendelea sasa, mtazamaji pamoja na msikilizaji wa TBC Taifa, ni uchukuaji wa kumbukumbu, picha mbalimbali kwa ajili ya kumbukumbu pamoja na meza kuu mara baada ya viongozi mbalimbali. Sasa ni wasaa wa chuo kikuu cha kilimo cha Sokoine SUA, viongozi mbalimbali wanapiga picha ya kumbukumbu, na itakapotoka picha hiyo itakuwa ni wasaa wa picha ya viongozi wa Chama cha Mapinduzi. Itakuwa ni wasaa wa viongozi wa Chama cha Mapinduzi kupata picha ya kumbukumbu na meza kuu. Nilikuwa nikikueleza tu kwamba katika hotuba zote zilizowasilishwa mahali hapa, kubwa lilikuwa likisisitizwa ni umuhimu wa kuendeleza uhusiano na ushirikiano wa nchi hizi mbili, hasa katika ukuzaji wa uchumi. Na akagusia pia Rais wa Afrika Kusini Cyril Ramaphosa kwamba vijana walio katika eneo hili la Mazimbu, basi itaangaliwa ni kwa namna gani eneo hili likawekwa katika mazingira ambayo litakuwa ni lenye uzalishaji na tija kwa wanaoishi katika maeneo haya, ili kuendeleza ule ushirikiano na uhusiano wa kindugu kati ya nchi hizi mbili. Na yeye akasema kwamba hakufanya kazi mahali hapa, lakini kaka yake alikuwa mwalimu katika kituo cha kitaaluma kilichokuwa hapa na kilichokuwa kikiendeshwa na chama tawala cha Afrika ya Kusini, chama cha ukombozi ANC, na hivyo kuna wajomba zake walizaliwa hapa, lakini pia akasema kuna ndugu zake wengine wawili walizikwa mahali hapa, mahali ambapo anataraji kutembelea pia makaburi yaliyopo mahali hapa, ambayo wale wapigania uhuru, baadhi yao ambao walipoteza maisha wakiwa katika ardhi hii, basi walipata kulazwa katika nyumba zao za milele hapa. Akizungumza awali, waziri wa mambo ya nje na ushirikiano wa Afrika ya Mashariki Profesa Palamagamba Kabudi alieleza kuwa pamoja na mambo mengine, basi serikali ya Afrika Kusini isisahau mchango uliotolewa na Mama Ana Abdalla. Mama Ana Abdalla wakati wa ujenzi wa kambi hii mahususi kabisa ya ukombozi ndiye aliyepewa jukumu la kusimamia kwamba kambi hii inakamilika, na hayati baba wa taifa Mwalimu Nyerere akamleta kuwa mkuu wa mkoa wa Morogoro kwa ajili hiyo, na akasema basi kimpendeza mkuu wa nchi ya Afrika Kusini itakapotokea kuna mtaa unatakiwa kupewa jina, basi wasije wakamsahau Mama Ana Abdalla. Na nilipokuwa nikimtazama Rais Cyril Ramaphosa alikuwa akionyesha kutikisa kichwa, kwa maana ya kwamba hayo yote yanawezekana. Shughuli ya upigaji picha na shughuli ya upigaji picha imekwisha malizika, na basi kwa wakati huu mtazamaji wa TBC1 nawe msikilizaji wa TBC Taifa, ni kushukuru sana pamoja na wewe unayetufuatilia katika eneo lolote lile. Ni kushukuru sana. Kwa sasa nirejeshe matangazo haya katika studio zetu zilizo Mikocheni jijini Dar es Salaam pamoja na barabara ya Nyerere, na baadaye tutarejea tena kukupasha kitakachokuwa kikiendelea mahali hapa. Kwenu studio.
Asante sana Elisha kwa kutujuza kile ambacho tunataka kushuhudia sasa hivi. Rais wa Afrika Kusini huko mkoani Morogoro, Cyril Ramaphosa, akiwa ametembelea eneo hilo la kumbukumbu ya ukombozi wa nchi yao Mazimbu. Amezungumza mengi, ukiacha mbali hizo ushirikiano wa kiuchumi, lakini vile vile amezungumza namna gani nchi Afrika Kusini haitaweza kuisahau Tanzania katika jitihada zake kusaidia kwamba nchi hiyo Afrika Kusini inapata uhuru ama ukombozi wake. Pia vile amezungumzia viongozi ambao wamefanikisha mataifa haya mawili kuwa na uhuru na urafiki, Nyerere na Nelson Mandela. Lakini vile vile kuhusiana na swala la Kiswahili alikumbusha zawadi ambayo amepewa na Rais Magufuli